So when you look at the Irish team, Dave, and you
Yeah.
look at the players that he's had to bring, we've looked at Stephen Kenny, I suppose. A lot of people have looked at Stephen Kenny. They've looked at the results. Some of the results just weren't acceptable. Some of them were, I suppose, you could have looked at some things that could have been done better. But if you look at the bigger picture and you look at the changing of the guard, does there have to be a lot of praise for Stephen Kenny for being so brave and changing so many players and bringing in so many youth players into this squad during his, I suppose, first real campaign, knowing more than likely that it's probably going to be at the cost of getting the World Cup place?
Yeah, like just to go back to maybe the previous campaign for a split second, and it's not even a criticism, but I was a bit like when he came out and said this is a build up to the Euros. That was the only thing where I was like, this has never been mentioned before. I'm a little bit. If you had said it from the get go, I don't think you'd have half of the Kenny in, Kenny out debates. So let's move on from that for a second. But regardless, say pretend we know that's not the truth from the get go. I don't think that he was building up to the next campaign. Yes, it is brave because of the fact of the matter is he only had this campaign up and like as far as we knew, and it looks like that was the case, to be honest. To play the guy, like he could have easily just picked the stereotypical guys that were there in the previous one, and there was one or two elements when it did happen. But to bring in your Edas, your like not Conleys, but Parrots, McBennies, Collins, Knights, McGraths, Amabama Dailies, Bazoon, who's even like, like that takes balls. Like I could try and think of another word, but I don't. That takes balls. And in fairness, like when you look at McCarthy had to do something similar, but he had the distinct pleasure of having O'Shea, Duff, Keane, Dunn. There's a big difference, so you could see quite early on that they were good enough and eventually they would. Well, these lads are still a bit raw, still very much finding their feet in club football. And as I said, talking with the Bruno, watching the game, you could see Bazunu looking a little bit more assured. Why? It's no rocket science. He's playing bloody games, and that's a simple fact. And that's what we need our guys to be doing. We need Eda to be playing games, and we need Omabama Daily to be playing games and Paris and everyone else, because it's so important no matter what level, because that's why I think we looked a lot more assured, because we're 6-7 weeks in. Lads are playing a lot more. He's playing a lot of guys who are playing consistently a little bit. He's not just playing who he thinks we want to see him play. But Kenny sticks his neck out. There's no two ways about it. He knew he was going to have to stick his neck out because the way he plays is a lot different to what we've been playing before. He's a lot more belief in the fact that we can play a slightly different way that's a bit more positive, because today, as much as we now know, 36%, I think we were the aggressor. I think we were the better side. We created the better chances. So there's a lot of credit to him and his staff, the way they play. I thought they had a lot more ball. Not massive amounts, but I thought it was a bit 50-50. So to only have 36, we had 18 shots, 8 on target. I thought we were the more positive side and the more assured side. And that's what I want to see playing teams at this level and slightly below us, that we're comfortable. We're beating them comfortably instead of winning 1-0 against Gibraltar, like in the last campaign. Like playing Portugal and playing Germany and all these teams, you're not going to win the majority of them matches no matter what. It's being more accomplished against Azerbaijan, Luxembourg and all that around it. That's what I want to see. And that today was the first time I seen it where it's like, Jesus, we've got a chance. Now, obviously we need a few players to come through, but we've got a chance, to see the way I want to see us play.